How do you like our chances against Kansas City with all these injuries? It's not good. But the 49ers can beat any team they play. They're that good. If they stay out of their way, they can beat anybody with this roster. That defense is just unbelievable. It's so freaking good. The just if you look at I mean, again, okay, these are the updated defensive ranks. First in total points allowed. First in total yards allowed. First, the fewest first downs in the NFL. Fewest passing touchdowns. Best yards per rushing attempt. Most tackle for losses. Most sacks. And yeah, the injuries, they're going to mount up, and the injuries matter. And, Bosa might not be out there, whatever. It's not like it's just Bosa. They kept hitting the quarterback even after Bosa was out. So I'm not too worried about our defense. We've seen them be successful with a whole bunch of injuries. I am worried about the offense. If the offense doesn't turn it over, the special teams doesn't get kicks blocked and give up giant returns, just don't beat yourselves. You can beat anybody. I don't care what team in the NFL. The only thing there's a couple teams that are just real poor matchups, and I would say that would be the Bills, the Bucks, Kansas City is probably next tier for me. That I'm like, if they're hitting on all cylinders, that could be problematic. Anytime you got a quarterback like Mahomes, it just changes things. But the Bills and the Bucks are probably the two biggest schematic and roster concerns for me in the NFL. Not the Chiefs, but doesn't Chiefs could blow us out at home. There's no doubt about it. If we show up and we start turning the ball over, special teams are bad, and their offense starts clicking, could be bad. Could be really, really bad. Dan says, some are saying we should sit Bosa and Trent in the Atlanta game until they're medically cleared. Yes, I would do that as well. For several reasons. One, this Atlanta game on importance of game is at the bottom of the barrel. It's not a division opponent. It is a weak opponent on the road that you should be able to sneak a win by. 49ers are going to be favored huge. I haven't looked at the spread yet, but it's going to be a lot. Probably close, probably about 4.5 or 5 points would be my guess off the top of my head. But somebody tell me and throw that up in the chat if you don't mind. But the idea is this, like, if you put Bosa out there and he re-aggravates something, or Trent and he re-aggravates something, you're in trouble, because not even the Kansas City game. While I understand fans see that as such a valuable game, it's not even a conference game. It counts in the wins and loss and power rankings, whatever. I care about playoffs. So that matchup in 2 weeks against the Rams, that's the one I care about. Not this one, not that one. They matter, but they're not top 10 type games against us. You know what I mean? They're not. You got to err on the side of caution and health and longevity. The 49ers are playing for a Super Bowl. We're not playing to barely get into the playoffs. We are playing for the long term. This Atlanta game will not determine that. Let's say you lose to Atlanta. Guess what? The 49ers are still in first place no matter what every other team in the NFC West does. Even if they all win and we lose, we all have the same record, but we're 2-0 in the division. You got to own those tiebreakers. Falcons aren't going to the playoffs. That's not going to be a head-to-head tiebreaker. That way by a long time. And Coach Cruz said 5.5. So there you go. So we're almost touchdown favorites on the road again, which is different. So you don't. This isn't push all your chips in to beat the Atlanta Falcons. It's an early game, right? Like, I'm not saying it's not important. I'm out here. I'm in Atlanta right here 6 days before the freaking game because I'm crazy. But that's okay. I love my wife. Love you. She's not watching, but thank you. It matters, but in the big scheme of things, it's not everything.
The 49ers Rush Podcast.